on you guys. Yes, it is a particularly very exciting time to be a fan of South Florida sports. We saw it with March Madness tournament. It was FAU and making those runs to the Final Four that we thought we'd never see ever. And now on the professional side of it, you see both the Florida Panthers and, of course, Miami Heat led by this guy who I'm going to talk about in a minute, but slow it down. Both teams with leads in their Eastern Conference Finals. Miami yesterday, of course, taking a 2-0 lead away from the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers look to make it 2-0 tonight as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Both teams are away to start the first two. Of course, they are the lower seeds in their respective sports, but we know that to be completely full of shit, as the Heat and Panthers both have proven the naysayers, the doubters, everybody, the skeptics, they've proven you guys all wrong, proven me wrong. I didn't see either team, honestly, realistically coming out of, maybe the play-in for the Heat. I was skeptical at first, but I still gave them a chance. I'm gonna ride for them no matter what. The Panthers, they had a very tough task ahead of them at the beginning with Boston, a team that many thought was gonna be the Stanley Cup champions, but the curse of the cup continues. It's been a while since we've seen the President's Cup trophy winner also hold the Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup, actually. Hoist that up in the same season. We know the last time it happened was, I believe, 10 years ago with Chicago Blackhawks. I want to say, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it went down. Either way, it's been a very long time since a team has captured that. Both cups in the same year. But shouts out to them. However, we have moved on. Not only did we get through them, we also got through Toronto Maple Leafs, a country that essentially invented this damn sport, is now watching us compete and hopefully make it to our second Stanley Cup appearance. We know the first time didn't work out so well, but we might be able to right these wrongs because it's been an up and down season for the Cats. But we are here. We are in the Eastern Conference Finals. So with that being said, we are going to kick this off with the other sport. Talk about some hoops. Let's go. All right. You already heard me say the Miami Heat taking a 2-0 lead against Boston. We saw the game last night, a 111-105 victory. Game 1 came at a 123-116 victory for Miami Heat. But we all know the catalyst of this team. He is Himmy. He is Himmy forever. He is the man who I am representing today because he represents this city, this team so damn well. I am happy to have him. It is Jimmy freaking Butler. Yes, the term has been coined by broadcasters in the last two games. He is Jimmy freaking Butler for a reason. He popped off yesterday, going 27, 8, and 6. That is 27 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He also added 3 steals and 2 blocks. Of course, we know game 1 he had 6 steals. He was almost at that record for most steals in an Eastern Conference Finals, I believe, if he didn't hit that mark, but he was relatively close to it. Game 1 he also contributed on the offensive end with 35 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists. He has been a freak show all series long. He was a freak against every single team he's gone up against. There is no answer for Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. He is gonna deny it every time. There is no such thing as playoff Jimmy, but I will tell you otherwise. Playoff Jimmy does damn well exist, and he is here. He is forever, and I hope the Miami Heat do right by him, give him the forever contract that we didn't give to Dwayne Wade, but we made up for it. I digress with that one, but Jimmy is hopefully gonna see his first NBA championship ring. I want to see it come to fruition. Of course, me as a Miami Heat fan, but there is nothing more that can be said about Jimmy. He is the reason why we get into the situations that we do. Why are we so successful? You cannot poke the bear. I will tell you that, as that picture right there will tell you. Grant Williams had to learn a very painful lesson. You don't poke the bear. In other words, you don't. With Jimmy Butler, I will say that for the most G-rated fans, but Jimmy Butler showed you why you do not do this, and It's all about the baskets. He went off as soon as Grant Williams started talking trash to him. He got in his face in response after he hit the first bucket. Not only did he hit one bucket, he hit a second bucket. Not only did he hit a second bucket, he hit a third bucket on Grant Williams just to show him who his daddy is. So Jimmy Butler, I imagine, is taking the day to pack Grant Williams' things as he is going to ship him off to China. I wish you nothing but the best, Grant Williams. Ni hao, sincerely, from the Miami Heat fans around the world. But that is something you just do not do. You don't poke the bear. I don't know why you. What made you do that, Grant? You're not him. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about who is him on that team, but we cannot forget to talk about the rest of the Miami Heat team, as it is not a one-man show. We see the rise of Bam Adebayo offensively. We know what he can do defensively. He can guard the 1 through 5 from the center position. That is incredible. DP of the year, in my opinion. But, I digress on that one too. It can go to whoever they want, give the trophies to whoever they want. But when it comes to the playoffs, Bam seems to lock down every single time, and he will go with the best of them. When it matters the most, Bam shows up. And now, with a more offensive game, this is going to be a more complete package for him. Look for him to lock down. Look for him to stay relative in the offense. It will run through him at some point, especially when Jimmy needs those couple of minutes of rest. The ball will be in the hands of Bam Adebayo, and when he does get it, he's taking the aggressive approach and trying to score. We saw game 2. He went 22 points with 17 boards and 9 assists. He was 1 assist away from a triple-double. Game 1, he showed out also with 20 points, 8 boards, and 5 assists. That is now 3 straight games dating back to the Knicks series last, where he scored 20 or more points with 10 or more field goal attempts. So, like I said, Bam is proving to be an offensive weapon for us more than what we already have. These little bright lights that we have on this team are keeping us in it every single series. We took care of the Bucks. We took care of the Knicks. We handled Chicago. We do what we have to do when we need to do it, but yet you guys still want to doubt us. As a matter of fact, here's a graphic that's going to prove how much you guys doubt us. You're giving us a 30% chance after going 2-0 on these guys. The guys that we thought pretty much at the beginning of the season were going to be the NBA champs of the world, and we are handling them in their own house at the TD Garden, in front of Boston, all their fans. Come on now, and you want to disrespect us, but I have a graphic that's going to disrespect you guys right back. As you can see, no team that has gone 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals has gone on to lose the Eastern Conference Finals, so that is a positive note for the Miami Heat. But we already know that they can take those statistics and absolutely shove them. Miami Heat does not care what you think. This is a team that was given a 3% chance before game 1 even tipped off. And then we win game 1. And then you want to bump that. Oh, wow, now it's a 13% chance we may do this. So what do? We're going to win one more on you. And then you're going to bump us to 30. That is disrespectful. When are you guys going to learn to stop disrespecting this team? The disrespect that you're giving them is the fuel that they are using to kick all these teams' asses. All these teams that you guys said were going to handle business. What happened to Milwaukee? What happened to Giannis? What happened to the Knicks? You can all answer that one. But what is happening now to the Boston Celtics? This is a team that was getting it done. Jason Tatum dropped 50 points to get them into this position. And now he needs all the help he can get just to win one. Hopefully just try to scrape one win. But you're going into the Kaseya Center now, tomorrow, where the Heat have not lost a game yet in this playoffs. But, those 35 chances. You gave us it's a pretty even series, We got to talk about that. But I digress. I mean, all the negatives you guys can say, it's just not going to matter because the Heat are just not going to stop winning. But I will continue to talk about the Heat. We're going to pile on those statistics. Not only is it Jimmy, not only is it Bam, they are getting help from the unlikeliest of sources like Caleb Martin, who went for 25 points yesterday. That is insanity. Game 2. Going 11 of 16 from the field goal percent. 11 of 16 field goals. I will refrain from that. But game one, he also had 15 points. He shot three pointers, I believe, in both games. So the 3-point machine, he is being guarded by guys like Time Lord Robert Williams, and that kind of shows you why he's making those buckets. He's taking on the slower man with that power forward position he's getting. But this is the guy who's built like a shooting guard who can shoot. He's showing you that he can. Shot off of Giannis, gave him that cold celebration. Now hitting shots on the center for the Boston Celtics. This guy is ridiculous. He is showing up. He is feeding off the energy that Jimmy Butler has provided for this team. He is the life source that this needs. It is the energy that they are getting, and it is coming from none other than Jimmy Butler. But guys like Caleb Martin are benefiting from this dog-like mentality that they have. It is the kennel, and in the kennel, these dogs bite. They are not just bark. But also guys like Duncan Robinson have been providing. He provided in game 2, not so much game 1. He scored 15 points, going 6 of 9. Also hitting 3 of 6 3-point shots. So kudos to him for keeping us in it last game. We needed people to step up late in the game. We found it in guys like him, guys like Jimmy and Bam. But when Duncan Robinson didn't show up in game 1, guys like Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, they sure did. They all hit 15 points apiece, and they all hit 3-pointers in game 1. So anybody can do it on this team, it seems. It doesn't just one through one guy, which is the recipe for their success. You know, you got to worry about every single player on this roster that steps foot on that court, because they all are going to get involved somehow. And if they get a rhythm, we see that they can handle their own. So look for this Miami Heat to make even more noise. I'll get to my predictions about this series right after I give some kind of credit to the Boston Celtics. I mean, they are a team. They are putting up a fight in both games. Neither game has been decided by double digits. So relatively competitive, and also on the West Coast, which we'll talk about after. But like I said, the catalyst for that team, none other than Jason Tatum. He is trying to keep this team alive. He is the respirator that this team needs at times, but it is just not enough. In certain moments, he cannot provide from the 3-point line. He is absolutely atrocious. He went 3 for 10 yesterday, and before that, I believe he was 1 for 3, only putting up 3 3-point attempts. So we see him doing that, but he does score. He does provide the points that this Boston Celtics team needs to compete with the Miami Heat. He scored 34 to go with 13 boards and 8 rebounds. In game 2, he shot 10 of 20, which is 50%. That is not bad. So he is pretty accurate. He is pretty consistent. He will get you more than 10 points on most games. You saw in game 1, he had 30 points to go with 7 boards and 1 assist. So he kind of shows you there. He is a consistent scorer, but what he does after that is kind of bounces around in certain occasions. But guys like Jaylen Brown kind of need to step up a little bit more than they are. We saw he did score 16 points last game, but he also shot 7 for 23. That is absolutely atrocious. That is one of the reasons why the Heat are able to capitalize and win these games, is because they take advantage of the missed opportunities that the Celtics have, and they are able to produce buckets of their own with guys who are more consistent on that end. But the Celtics try to make noise when they can. In game 1, Jaylen Brown did manage to put up 22 points to go with 9 boards and 5 assists. So we see that this team can compete, but they just do not have the answers for this Miami Heat team. And it sounds like a lot of bragging, but it's just what is happening right now. What I am seeing in this series is a whole lot of Miami taking advantage of the Boston Celtics' failures and weaknesses. I don't think there's many failures from the Celtics, more so that missed opportunities that they just aren't taking advantage of. Guys like Time Lord, though, are stepping up. I mean, going 11 of 11 in the first 2 games combined, which is pretty impressive. We know how he gets those points. He's not a shooter. He's going to get to the basket. He's going to either lay it up, he's going to dunk, he's going to take those fouls. We saw he did manage to get, I believe, 2 and 1s. It could have just been 1 and 1 that I saw, but he does get to the basket. He gets to the free throw stripe, so he provides for his team as well. He gives you that sort of juice when you need it, but he's got no help, Jason Tatum. I mean, they just need to do a little bit more. They're there. They're just not doing what they need. The guys like Malcolm Brogdon, who were brought in the offseason, giving you 13 points in game 2 after giving you 19 in game 1. So this slight regression is hurting. It is hurting. You guys need to keep it up. Guys like Marcus Smart are just around, but they're not being much of a factor. It is not the Celtics team that many believed in at the beginning of the season. They are showing a lot of cracks in their armor, a lot of wear and tear, which I don't want to sound biased because of the shirt that I'm wearing and all that, but Boston does show signs of choking when it matters. But obviously we didn't see it last season. They were able to get past this point last season, but what did they do in the finals? You lost to the Warriors, but that is nothing to be taken away. The Warriors are a good team no matter what, even if they aren't in the playoffs anymore. I'm so sorry, but defending champs last season, and Boston did give them a fight for the most part, but the Miami Heat are bringing more of a fight to them, it seems. So with that being said, I will give you my predictions, and obviously I have Miami in forever, baby. I have the Heat just taking it. They will be there come NBA Finals time. We will see it. They are gonna avenge that ugly Game 7 loss to Boston last year, and they will be the ones sitting pretty in the NBA Finals. We will do a whole NBA Finals show, but that is later down the line. As of now, I do have the Miami Heat taking at least Game 3 at home. I want to say it's going to be a clean sweep for Miami, but we do know that they kind of take a step back. At some point, it would be nice to see guys like Jimmy and Bam get some well-deserved rest, but we do have a series to win at the end of the day. 2-0 does not mean the series is over. I will say that, so Boston can respond, but like the graphic I put up earlier said, and I'm going to put it back up for you guys now just so you guys are well aware of how much I do not care about your 30% chance of this team making the NBA Finals. No team who has gone 2-0 in the ECF has lost the ECF. So my prediction is different from the majority decision of America, but to that I say, go Heat. Moving right along to the game happening tonight, that is the other series, the Western Conference Finals held between the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers. Game 3 set to be played tonight at 8:30 on ESPN, I believe, and this game is gonna be the first in LA at the Crypto.com arena. So looking at the series as it stands right now, Denver holding that 2-0 death grip on the Lakers. This is not a good sign for LeBron and company, as Joker just seems to have taken that whole not even a candidate for MVP thing very personally, as he has gone triple doubles in both games this series so far. It is incredible to see what has happened, what has become of Nikola Jokic. We know who he is. This is a 2-time MVP award winner dating back to the last 2 seasons before Embiid got this one. It was looking like he was going to make it a 3-peat. That is a testament to how great Nikola Jokic is, how great he has been this season. Last season, he is consistently the best player on the Denver Nuggets team, consistently one of the best players in the Western Conference, and possibly all of the NBA right now. But we saw game 2. It was a 108-103 victory, very tight, but Denver pulled away. Game 1, 132-126. Like I said at the Heat series, this is also a series in which the team has not won by double digits yet. The same team has won, but they've been relatively close games. We know that the Nuggets tend to get hot early. That is when they produce the majority of their points. As in game 1, we saw they went the first 3 quarters scoring 30 points in each quarter. So These guys just know how to score. They are consistent, so they rarely have to fight back from deficits. But it seems that the Lakers like to play catch up and they like to get hot later on in the games, sometimes when it's already out of their reach, but they still try to keep themselves in it at times. But it gets the best of them. Jokic is just getting the best of them each time, but it has been a struggle for the Lakers to even manage one victory over Denver. Denver is looking like a sure shot out of this in this division. So who knows how it's going to go down. Jokic, speaking on his stats, we're going to get into it. Game 2, he went 23 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists to go with 3 steals. He's everywhere. He is just a unicorn of a player. This is crazy. We don't see this, and he is a center. He is a freaking center doing this kind of work. It is scary to see what this Denver Nuggets team is, what they have become. They are not a fluke. They are the real deal. They were the top seed in the West, and they are showing in this series why they are. But game 1, we saw Jokic. Going back to him, he had 34 points to go with 21 boards and 14 assists. So he's consistent. He's always going to get you there. He's always going to keep you in the game. He is a stud. But he does have help in the form of point guard Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has been lights out this series. He has scored 37 points to go with 10 boards and 5 assists. Last game, game 1, he had 31 points, but he is shooting 11 of 24 in game 2. So rarely does this man miss. Rarely does this team miss, it seems. So this team just gets it done in every single way, but they have the help. They got guys they need. They have the role players like Aaron Gordon. KCP will do a little bit of damage here and there. So, Denver has the weapons it needs, and they've been utilized to the fullest of their potential. But going to the other side, Bron and his Lakers are just trying, just like the Celtics, to stay in their series. Can they? This will be the game that we find out what kind of series it's going to be. But LeBron has definitely been the head of this Lakers team. Obviously, that is no shock to anybody, going 22 points with 9 boards and 10 assists in game 1. He also contributed with 4 steals and 2 blocks. This guy is super human. This guy has been in the league almost as long as I have been alive. Probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but to know that he has done this since that time, it is absolutely ridiculous. You do not see any signs of him slowing down. LeBron is just losing because he doesn't get the help that he needs at this point. It is not because he's fallen off some magical cliff that you guys like to put on these kinds of players when they're at this point in their career, but LeBron is far from calling it a career, as it seems. He is in the best of health. I mean, probable he will play. He was kind of skeptical. Same thing with AD, who we'll talk about in a little bit, but no shock to see AD on any injury report at this moment. But LeBron, we know he is more than likely going to play today. It was a bit of a questionable, but they're going to need him on that floor. They're going to need him on the floor for the majority of the game if they want to get it done. And knowing this is a make or break game for them, to go down 3-0 will be an absolute dagger in their season. So look for him to play the majority of the game. Look for him to play the majority of the offense and try to score every single time he's got the ball in his hands. A lot less sharing on LeBron. He knows that he's going to be the one that needs to get it done, and I believe that he will, at least in game 3, but I'll get back to that. LeBron is just doing what needs to be done. Game 1, he did produce 26 points, 12 boards, and 9 assists. So, like I said, Bron is doing everything that he can. He is a freak of nature, but he's getting help in also unlikely names. Guys like Austin Reeves, who has shown himself to be a help to LeBron in this series, at least. He has scored 20-plus points in back-to-back games. He has gone 5 of 9 from the three-point line, but that is incredible to see. This is like Alex Caruso who now to the Lakers. Guys like Rui Hachimura are dropping 20 points also. But of course, the biggest factor in this series and how it's going to go down is whether or not AD can stand the task of holding down Jokic and also producing offense to help LeBron out. We know LeBron cannot do it all simply, but it is going to have to come in the help of AD. AD needs to do everything that we expect him to do if he's going to want to push the Lakers to that NBA Finals, to see whether it's the Heat or the Celtics. But AD in game 2, he had 18 points to go with 14 boards and 4 assists. He was kind of taking a step back in terms of health. He was kind of injured, and we saw it. He had a steal and 4 blocks though, so he does still produce with that sort of less than 100% health. But we did see that fall off from game 1, where he had 40 points, 10 assists, and 3 rebounds to go with 3 steals and 2 blocks. So we see he kind of descended from game 1 to game 2, and it is not something you want to see. We do know he's going to have to drop more than those 18 points that he did in game 2 in order to survive this series and push it to a 2-1. But we will have to wait, of course, till later on tonight to see whether or not that happens. My anticipation is that the Lakers will pull out this game. They will take the home court to their side. They will take it to the fans. The fans will greet them with the absolute openest of arms, and I believe that is going to lead them to a game 3 victory. It'll be 2-1 with another game to go at the Crypto.com arena. Look for LeBron to score about, I'm going to give him 35 points in this game. My prediction for how this series is going to turn out, though, I do not see the Nuggets falling and ultimately giving up the series to the Lakers. I see Denver at most getting pushed to 6 games, but to see the Lakers force a game 7 on Denver the way that these 2 games have gone, it's a small sample size, but it's enough of a size to know that Denver is not playing around. Denver is for real. They want to be in that NBA Finals spot, and I believe Jokic, guys like Jamal Murray, guys like Aaron Gordon, KCP, they are all going to do what they need to in order to push themselves past the Lakers. I know KCP would love to see his former team go down to his current team. So you have a lot of hidden storylines there, but ultimately I do think Denver will get the best of the Lakers. I'm sorry, I am a LeBron fan. I do love the guy. I appreciate everything he's done as a player, as a man out of the court, on the court. No matter what, I'm a LeBron rider, but I gotta be honest with myself. The Nuggets are a for real team. They are a complete team. They will lock you down on defense, but score on you on the offense. They will get in massive runs that you cannot shoot yourselves out of. But with LeBron, everything is possible. So I cannot count him out, much like I won't count out my man Tom Brady. So I see them kind of in the same light, but that is a story to be told for another day. But in my predictions for this series, give me Lakers tonight. Give me Denver to win it this entire series. I'm not going to say win it all. Do not get it twisted, because you guys are going to mix up my words, and that is not what I mean. But they will win out this series. They will probably drop the game tonight. I believe they are exhausted from handing those 2 losses to the Lakers, so they will kind of descend in terms of offense, but look for them to regroup fast. And I do not think this will be a blowout. This is going to be a tight game, I believe, the entire way around. So give me the Nuggets in the series. Give me the Lakers in this game. And that is going to wrap it up for the NBA. And we are going to talk about the guys on the ice now. And now, for the first time on this show, I am going to be talking about the NHL. Yes, I mentioned the boys on the ice. They are here. And of course, we talk about the NHL because we are being represented locally by the Florida freaking Panthers, a team not any of you would have thought were going to be in this spot. I will bet every single dollar I have that none of you guys that are watching this had the Panthers going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals after we were matched up with the NHL's best team in history, those Boston Bruins. But Miami knows how to beat Boston. What can I say? I'm sorry. I'm a Boston fan too. Don't get me wrong. Please do not get me wrong. Because when it comes to baseball, I'm going to be talking about the Red Sox like you wouldn't believe. But we're going to backtrack that because this is the NHL. I also kind of have a job with the Florida Panthers. I'm not going to get too into it because that's a little bit boring. But yes, I represent the Panthers because they do in fact pay me. But I will leave that for another time. As far as the NHL playoffs go, Florida Panthers went out and took a 1-0 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes, a team who, me personally, I had them as the next men up if the Bruins couldn't make it past the first round or even get to the Stanley Cup Finals. I thought this whole tournament was going to run through Carolina, but looks like Florida ran through them first. They took game 1 on the road, much like the Heat did against Boston. I'm going to keep bringing that up. Don't worry about it. But Florida with a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 to be played tonight at 8 o'clock on TNT. Yes, dynamite is what the Panthers have been all playoff long. This team is crazy. Getting it done in overtime, the possible hardest thing to do because it's a 1 goal wins it all. But, this has been on their side as far as this year has been concerned. The Panthers are absolutely dominant in OT. I think I'm still asleep from game 1 where they took 4 overtimes to defeat the Carolina Hurricanes by a tune of 3-2. Yes, the game started with a Carolina goal early, but the Cats were able to answer that with 2 goals in 3 minutes in the second period, scores by Alexander Barkov, Sasha, and Carter Verhaeghe. But Carolina was quick to respond to that. In the third period, Stefan Nissen scored the game tire in the third, I think just 2 minutes into it. But we headed into the first period of overtime where Ryan Lombard was denied a first overtime goal, which would have just ended it there, but overturned due to goalie interference, and so we played some freaking more. Not only did we get a second overtime, but we got a third overtime. Not only a third overtime, but we got a fourth overtime. So if you really look at it, if you add up all the minutes Carolina and Florida played 2 games in one night essentially, and they have to play tonight. They had less than about 24 hours, I would say, to recover from that game. They will be playing in just a couple of hours today. So we'll see which team was able to recuperate faster. But we did see in that fourth overtime, about to be a fifth overtime, do not get me wrong, in the dying seconds, who else but Matthew Tkachuk scoring the game winner for Florida. Yes, Tkachuk has been the man. Chucky, he's our guy. He has been the man all year for us. You can count on him. He was slow. He was slow in this game. It seemed like they were shutting him down all game long. Carolina seemed to have the answer for Matthew, but Matthew said, no, I'm trying to get some sleep tonight. And he put it away for us at about 1:30 in the morning. But, we got it done. Here we go. Getting into game 2 with a 1-0 advantage. Should the Panthers take a 2-0 lead to their house, it is looking promising for them. Hockey is a little bit different than the NBA as far as, percentages and all that, because it seems like every team is about even. There was the excuse of Boston was the superior to Florida. They took that 3-1 lead. Florida said shove it, took that back and won 3 in a row. Not only that, took 3 more from Toronto. They lost 1, but were able to finish the series. And now here we go, jumping out to that 1-0 lead against Carolina. It is absolutely insane what this Florida Panthers team is doing. But just to go back to game 1 and how insane it was, Sergei Bobrovsky came away with 63 saves. That is insanity. That is 65 total shots taken to him, shot at him. Imagine having to defend 65 shots, and of those 65 shots, 63 of them didn't go in. Ridiculous. That is a testament to Sergei Bobrovsky. We saw Alex Lyon was able to hang in there in the first round, and he was a big reason why we were able to make the playoffs late in the regular season. He held his own, but you got to give it to Bob. Bob is holding his own. And I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to Carolina because they too deserve some kind of credit. You have Frederik Andersen, their goalie, who had 57 saves himself, which is beyond insane. I cannot sit here and tell you, that is light work, because it is not easy getting even 1 save. So nonetheless, getting 57 is ridiculous stuff. But That is a testament to how great this goalie is, to how great Bob is, to how great the Florida Panthers are, and look for them to make a lot of noise in this playoffs. They are looking to claim that Stanley Cup title, their first in their second appearance. It would be should they come away with this series win. My prediction, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be biased. I see Florida coming away with it. They are the playoff cats. They're the cardiac cats. They're everything you want to be. But you might have to be calling them Stanley Cup champions pretty damn soon. But we're going to switch gears now to the Western Conference Finals, where it is the Las Vegas Golden Knights against the Dallas Stars. Game 1 played last night. Game 1 also going into overtime for them. Luckily for them, they only needed one to end it. But the game got started hot with Vegas. William Karlsson in the second period was able to score 2 goals. Actually, in the second and third period, he scored goals. So he had 2 goals in 2 periods. I will correct myself there. But William Karlsson was definitely a big factor for the Vegas Knights offense. He led the way, but Dallas was able to respond. Jamie Benn hit the game tire with just 2 minutes to go in the third period, which is what forced the overtime. And going into the overtime, it was won by Brett Howden of the Vegas Golden Knights. If you even want to call it the game winner, it was honestly Jake Ottinger, goalie of the Dallas Stars, who kind of walked that puck into the net himself, and he kind of cost them with an own goal in soccer terms, if you guys know. But whether you want to call it the game winner by Howden or you want to call it an Ottinger own goal, Vegas came away with it. Vegas now leads 1-0 like the Panthers do. My opinion on that series, I see Vegas obviously the higher seed than Dallas. I can definitely see them coming out and making it to another Stanley Cup final. That remains to be seen, but these two teams seem to be well balanced and well even. Both series actually, because it took 4 overtimes for the Panthers to get it done against Carolina. So both teams are going to be absolutely gassed. Both conference finals are going to be popcorn bringers for sure. That is poor terminology, but you're going to want to need popcorn on deck to see every single game in these series, depending on how long they go. Who knows how long they're going to go. I believe all 4 teams will be gassed by, I would say, game 3, because for the Panthers and Hurricanes to play 2 games in one night essentially, and then you got an OT game in Vegas. You know, these teams are playing a lot of hockey, getting very physical, and who knows how long that is going to continue, but we'll see which teams come away with it. In my opinion, I am looking at a Florida Panthers Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup Finals, but who really knows? This is a 1-0 series compared to the 2-0 in the NBA, so if Carolina was to come out with a win today, that can definitely change the series, and it can kind of shape it in many different ways, but ultimately we don't know. The same thing goes with the Western Conference and Dallas. Dallas, we know, is capable of scoring 6 goals in a single game, but can also be slowed down, as we saw them there. But this is exciting time to be a hockey fan. I am a relatively new hockey fan, so seeing this kind of for the first time the last 2 years has been exciting for me. And seeing it as a Panther fan for the first time is ridiculous. I didn't have that fortune of seeing them rise from where they were. I know how atrocious they've been in past years, but I'm a fan of the recent history. I am more aware of the recent history. I've been paying attention more, and since I've been paying attention, we saw the President's Cup be lifted, and pretty soon maybe a Stanley Cup trophy. I look forward to that should it happen, but you never know. The NHL is an exciting sport. I hope many of you guys get into it, because it is quite the time. And if you are a South Florida resident not watching hockey, not watching basketball, I don't know what you are doing, because you are missing out for sports in South Florida. This is a ridiculous time. It is unprecedented to see this. We had, like I said, college basketball. It started with the Miami Hurricanes, and all the way down in Boca, FAU, both teams, Final Four appearances. That is the equivalent of where we are at right now. So this is just something that's in the Florida waters, in the South Florida waters, because Sorry, Tampa Bay Lightning, but we saw how that ended. Um, but the South Florida is just going crazy right now. What a time to be alive if you're a sports fan living here. I know for a fact, I'm representing. I'm representing every single step of the way, whether it be the Cats, whether it be the Heat. This is the time to support your teams because they are gonna need it. Not saying to spend $1,000 and go see them at the Casillas Center or at the FLA Live Arena, whatever you gotta do, but definitely give them their support because they need it, and it is a great time to be a hockey fan. So that is my prediction. That is gonna do it for sports, and that is gonna do it for my show in total. I hope you guys have fun because I certainly did, but I kind of gotta cut it short because there are sports to watch, guys. Until the next episode, peace. As a matter of fact, let me get a cheer for these teams. Let me get a cheer for South Florida. Can I cheer for South Florida, please? Much love, guys. Peace. Till the next episode.